It was once easy to start a business here.
Back in the 1920s, you take a poor, illiterate Irishman or an Italian, he goes out and buys a used car, paints the word taxi on it, and he's in business for himself.
Walter Williams is now an economist, but as this old documentary showed, he got his start driving a cab.
I made about $125 a week.
But today, he couldn't buy a cab in my town unless he was a millionaire.
Politicians here and in most cities now require every aspiring taxi driver to buy one of these medallions. No medallion, you're not legal. But these medallions now cost $1 million.
Yes, very expensive.
So expensive that only big companies can afford that. So now these drivers are not entrepreneurs, they're employees.
Yeah, it's because of the medallion. I cannot drive my own car.
It restricts entry, and the purpose of these licenses is to keep outsiders out.
No,
so
it's
that
to create a
inns,
safe and orderly
you
marketplace.
believe that? No, the purpose of the licensing is to keep outsiders out, so the inns can charge us higher prices.
One of the few remaining places where it's still easy to start a taxi business is Washington, D.C. These drivers like that.
It's the last bastion of free entrepreneur system in the industry in America.
But now this lobbyist wants to end that freedom.
You have to regulate.
He wants to bring the dumb medallion rule to Washington, D.C. He wrote a bill that would cut the number of taxis allowed in half.
There's too many taxi cabs.
These D.C. drivers don't think so.
Kill the medallion bill!
They like being allowed to work. But the lobbyist convinced this D.C. city councilman to sponsor his bill.
We want to professionalize our taxi cab system.
Professionalize the system. What's that mean?
Well, we want to make sure that the customer has a good riding experience.
That sounds good, but
What is this? What is this?
regulations already in the books subject every driver to petty harassment.
This is unacceptable right here.
Still, at least in Washington, the open entry rules allow newcomers to enter the business.
Washington, D.C. is the only major city in America that allows an open entry.
Isn't that good for poor people?
No, it's not good. A medallion system is what is needed,
But that squeezes newcomers out.
and newcomers should be squeezed out
Why?
because this is a regulated industry.
How much you get paid to lobby for this?
Well, I get paid by the hour, and my rate per hour is $775.
This man, he is about money. I can't blame him. But don't hustle me.
I'm told you're paid by the taxi king, Jerry Schaefer. He's using you to squeeze the competition out.
I'm being paid not by the taxi king, but by the taxi...
Bunch of taxi kings, kings and queens and jacks, to keep the little guys out.
Well, by some kings, queens, jacks, and just some poor little folks.
Poor folks rarely pay lobbyists, and if he gets his regulation, poor people won't become taxi entrepreneurs.
There's only a few going to be able to afford it, if any.
Washington has been sort of an open place for taxis, being able to become a taxi driver. That's good.
We love it.
So why monkey with good?
When folks have some ideas about different legislation, our job is to implement it.
You've only been here 4 years. How many laws have you gotten passed?
Oh, many. We are very active here in my office legislatively.
You ever repeal any?
No, I don't think many have been repealed.
Passing new laws adds to the power of politicians, but it makes it much harder to be an entrepreneur.
They're going to run me out of business.
You're trying to get out.